you're still stuck in the same role. Whilst you're seeing others less capable than you, and let's face it, we know they're less capable than you, being promoted and furthering their career ahead of you. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You're not stuck despite being good at your job. You're stuck because you're good at your job. You hit deadlines, you write clean stuff, you do a good job, you knock out ticket after ticket after ticket. You're reliable, and that's your problem. You're much more valuable where you are, just doing tickets, being the person who can just chug along and get it done, rather than the person that they think, we'll take a chance on and promote them into their next role and see how they do. In this video, I'm going to show you how being reliable is actually working against you. I'm going to tell you what to start doing and what to stop doing if you want that promotion and if you want that growth in your career, which at the moment is stalling. So the best way to phrase this is that you're a doer, you're not an owner. And a lot of people have this mindset that, I'm just going to get stuff done. And that's great. But having that mindset and leaning into it too much does leave you stuck. Whether you like to accept it or not, that's the fact. That it's just going to leave you stuck. To move on, you're going to need to get into an owner's mindset. A lot of people aren't underperforming. They're just stuck in the wrong mode. Doers wait for tickets, follow instructions, do a great job, follow what's in front of them. Whereas owners think about outcomes, spot problems, ask questions. The best way I describe this is that owners understand that we are there to deliver business value. That's ultimately what they're there for. We're not there to deliver code. We're not there to program. That's the job, right? But the reason you're paid is to deliver business value. You must be delivering value for the business, otherwise there's no point paying you. That's the mindset shift, ultimately. There's a really good line my old boss used to say to me when I was a junior: one gets thanked and one gets promoted. I want to be both. I'm going to try and be greedy. I want both here. I'm going to be selfish. Companies reward impact, not compliance. Doers are great to have, but they're so easy to overlook. The person who's just there. And I think you often hear stories about people that hand in their notice to their boss, and their boss only just really realizes that, oh, hang on, Ryan's going to leave. Like, they're so valuable. Let's try and give them a pay rise now, or let's try and promise these things, but don't write them down on paper on a contract. Let's just promise them. And so often you see that people stay in their role because of this pay rise. But what you need to understand is that this has come so late. This happens to doers a lot, because you hand in your notice and your boss thinks, oh, hang on, yeah, they are valuable actually. And I never thought they would leave. I thought they would always just stay in the sidelines, happy plodding along. This is what you're going to see. Whereas owners, they make a manager's life easier. They think, okay, I've got this problem. Who can I hand it off to? And effectively, I can just forget about it until I need to have an update or something like that. And that's the person they go to when they think of that is the person you need to be. Not just the person who's on the team doing the task, the person that they think, I've got a problem, who am I going to go to? And remember, your organization that you work for does not promote the person who gets it done. They promote the person who creates more value for the business. That's the truth. And I'm going to keep saying it because it's the truth. As I said earlier, leaders start assuming you're content. If you're reliable and quiet, you're invisible. You're so easy to overlook. You become the person, or you are the person who's kept things moving along the same path, but you've never been the person who's moved it forward. And that's a huge difference. You've always been the person that moves it along, but never forward. You need to be the person, ideally, right, that does both. You're so good at your job, they can't imagine you being good at anything else, or even wanting you to do something else, because you're that person on the conveyor belt, right? So how do you shift into owner mode? How do you go from doer mode to owner mode? And it's not actually about grinding more. It's not about having more on your plate, doing what you're doing now, plus owning an initiative that you thought of that will drive the business forward. It's not about that. It's a shift in mindset. You need to think differently. Start shifting how you work and how you communicate. For example, challenge vague tickets. Ask why this matters. Ask what the impact statement is. So you've got a ticket about creating a feature. Okay, can someone walk me through the impact of this on the user? How is it going to benefit them? What's the difference to the business's bottom line? That's a really valuable thing to answer. You might think you're being awkward and that this is all being worked out, but sometimes they might not actually know, and that'll be really telling to you. So this might just be a pet project, someone's pet project versus a project that actually the business realizes is going to drive them forward. And those are ways to get it out, is by asking questions like that. Identify risks, what I call roadblocks. So you're going along the road. What is going to be a speed bump? And that can come from experience. That can just come from doing really deep research into people that have done this before, have experienced this. And what are ways that you can overcome it? Highlighting them early, highlighting them risks early is going to see you as someone that wants to get there as well as possible, not just as quickly as possible, right? And that you know risks and that you're able to identify them. You're looking so you can show impact, not just delivery. Instead of saying, I built a feature for this website, it would be, I built this feature for this website, which increased conversion by X. And as a result, we increased the business's annual recurring revenue by X dollars. You need to get your product head on. Owners behave like mini product leaders, not just implementers. And what you're going to find is if you do this in your team, you start doing this in your meetings and your retrospectives and stuff like that, this will rub off on those around you, on the other engineers around you, and it will become like a habit. Some of the highest performing teams I've ever worked in have been very comfortable challenging work, challenging ideas, challenging should we do this. That doesn't mean you need to be combative about it. It just means that you need to show that you care about it and you're willing to take ownership of this, and that you realize that business value is the ultimate measurement of your success in your career. Everyone starts their career as a doer, and you're still doing that. You need to become an owner. The ultimate mind shift is understanding that you are there to deliver business value. And the sooner you start doing that is the sooner you will start to deliver growth in your career and stop blaming anything else.